Okay, so I tell people sometimes that I got two wives, right? I mean, it's a joke, right? And basically I'm saying, one is the love of my life, right? And the other is my business partner. And they both just so happen to be named Jonsi. You know what I mean by that?
Yes, because, we're more than just a married couple. We're business partners. So, we have this foundation of love and foundation of business, and we're building them both at the same time.
Yes. You make it sound like so like romanticized. Okay, there we go. That laugh told the truth. Yeah, we know that it could be it could definitely have some really high highs and some low lows, right? And and I think that it'd be good for us to kind of talk through, kind of like what those things are. We can encourage some people, let some people know, what the real is.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I think it's great. I feel like sometimes people feel like if they can work together well in their relationship, they can work together well in business, and sometimes it works,
Yeah.
and sometimes not so much, but it happens to work for us. So I'm looking forward to sharing it.
This is the brand. This is the voice. This is the pain. They move by choice. Charles and Jonsi. We don't chase trends. Brand currency where purpose begins.
Welcome to the Brand Currency Podcast, where we break down branding and design in a way that actually makes sense for your business. My name is Charles McGill, and I am joined by my lovely co-host.
Hi, I'm Jonsi McGill, his wife and partner in business.
That's right. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about this, what you just said. You said wife and partner in business. And, those things don't always go together. Although, people assume that they do, right? Because you see it working well, but it doesn't always work well. But it has worked well for us. And maybe we should, share with them maybe the backstory, like, kind of like what led to us going all in together in business.
Man, from way back.
Yeah. You want to tell the story or did...
Oh, no, babe. You tell the story way better. I'll be chopping it. You'll get frustrated.
You be skipping and stuff. So it started off with us. Actually, I was a high school principal, and out in California, and my wife was a stay-at-home mom, and that had pretty much been the plan. We had decided from the time pretty much that you got pregnant with CJ that was going to be our dynamic. You were working at AT&T when we first met.
That's how we met.
Once we found out that you were pregnant, we started to kind of think through a plan where you would eventually stop working, because at some point you'd obviously would have to stop working, at least for maternity leave.
But it was always my dream to stay at home with my kids, because my mom stayed with me during the first few years of my life, and I felt like that was really impactful. Yeah. So I wanted to do that for my children and just take care of my family, hold us down in that way.
Absolutely. And that was clear to me. I knew that there was a finite time that you would be working, and that after you stopped, that I would have the responsibility of taking care of the family. So we planned for that. We already knew that was going to happen. And it did. Once CJ came around, then you stopped working, you cashed out, everything, and
I was like, I'm done.
Yes, you were excited.
Bye, corporate America.
And that was good for us. We were able to provide a lot of stability for CJ as soon as he came out, because you were there all the time for him, and there was no pressure for you to have to do anything else.
It was a blessing, Charles.
Yeah, it for so many ways. But also because of you cashing out, we were able to actually fund our trip to California. to move back to California to be with my daughters. So I have 3 daughters from a previous marriage, and they were, I think the youngest was 10? And we had 10, and then it was like maybe 12, and then probably 14 or 15 was the oldest. And so I came back and to become a principal. And we moved to California and I was taking a principal job. And we, that was pretty much what we were doing. I was a principal, you were stay at home, and it was working. In terms of the home, it was working, but what wasn't working for us?
What wasn't working was the dynamic at the school.
That's right.
The culture of the school.
That's right.
Do you want me to say it?
You can say that part.
I will say that those people...
see now. Come on now.
Listen, they did not appreciate having a Black male principal leading them that wanted to incorporate change in the culture of the school.
Yeah.
Because you had a vision for the school. You saw the potential in the kids there, and you wanted them to, be the best they could be and really enjoy their high school experience.
Yeah.
But not everybody at the school felt that way.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the spirit of everything I did. That was the foundation of every decision I made was what's best for the kids. And we definitely had there were definitely a number of adults that centered themselves and felt like, they wanted to, whatever was best for them. They wanted me to have to kind of, cater to them in some way.
Because what were some of the things you were doing for the kids?
Oh man, I mean,
or for the school, for the, the culture of the school.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first things I did, first, they didn't realize that they were a turnaround school. The superintendent who hired me had asked me to come and turn around the school. But the people that were there didn't know they were a turnaround school. So, I had to spend some time kind of educating them on where they were in the data, like they weren't performing that well, why there were certain trends that just weren't working well in terms of behavior. And then also some of the things that I noticed in terms of how we were spending our money and how it wasn't being allocated best for, the kids. And so kind of highlighting all these things, when you start off our relationship, and I try my best to build rapport, do the observing, all these different things that people tell you to do when you first start at a new place and you're the boss. Don't change things right away. I tried to do that, but there was a sense of urgency coming from the current superintendent at the time to say, hey, I need you to, do what you do. You got a vision, so go ahead and act it. So I tried my best to solicit support, get people on board. But one thing the school needed to do was to rebrand, was not only to get a redesign, but also a rebrand. So it started off with some of the design pieces, like I changed the logo up, painted the school, make sure things were clean, like make sure the actual, like I did, and people didn't understand why I did this, but I understood why I did it. And I try to explain it to them because it's like, there's this theory called the education called the broken window theory. And that if you walk by a building, this like came from like New York, I think. You walk by a building, you see a broken window, and you don't fix the window. You think nothing of it. But because you see a broken window and no one's fixing it, it plays subconsciously on you that it's okay to maybe break another window. And if you see 2 broken windows, now all of a sudden it doesn't look like it's a well kept up place. So it probably needs some trash on the floor to add to the visual, right? You probably need some graffiti now. And so that's okay. It keeps building, right? But if you immediately fix the window, you kind of reinforce the idea that this is not a place where, it should be trashed, right? Or it should look bad. So
you reinforce the care.
Yeah. And so what I noticed, like, not only like in terms of painting the building and cleaning up the lawn and there's all this different stuff, cosmetic, was that on the floor there was a lot of gum, like on the cement as you walk down. They'll just throw it down and stomp on it, right? But there was gum like on all the walkways. But what that did was it made the cement look dirty because there's all this gum that you would step on. And so I had, our cleaning crew clean off the gum. And they thought that was like, like I was almost like it was like demeaning work. Like, some people took it like, oh, he's like some kind of uppity guy. He's got people cleaning gum off and I'm like, who else gonna do it? Like, I don't know who
That's
else.
Their job, right?
It's literally like their job. And also there was actually, what was crazy about the thing about that situation was that a lot of the things that I did, I saw at the affluent school that was like 10 minutes away.
That was part of the same network.
Mm-hmm. They had a gum machine. I got the idea from them. They had the machine. I just got one just like them. But their floors or their cement never looked that bad because someone would be cleaning it. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like an idea that I just came up with, but someone gave it to me because they were like, hey, we went to your school for professional development. We noticed that you got like all this stuff on the floor. Have you thought about doing anything about it? I didn't know that was even a thing. It was stuff like that. But then also I did like new uniforms for the kids. We had all the kids needed computers. We didn't have a one-to-one. We were supposed to be one-to-one school where every kid has a laptop that they can work on a Chromebook. So I bought new computers. I provided teachers with teacher supplies. So every year teachers usually have to come out of pocket for supplies and they get reimbursed by the school. And it's not very much. They get reimbursed like $200, which is not enough to like really have supplies for the year for your kids. So what I did was I said, okay, stop doing that. You don't have to spend your own money. I'm going to create a store, or not a store, but a like an Office Max within our campus that you can come and get supplies for free. We'll pay for them.
Wow.
We did stuff like that. I created break rooms. We didn't have any break rooms for teachers.
A lot of teachers that would appreciate something like
that.
Yeah.
I created break rooms. I would feed them every week. Whenever we had staff meetings, I would cater that. I made sure all of them were paid appropriately because a lot of our staff at the time was underpaid. And I meant, what I mean by pay them appropriately is meaning that if you've been working there for 7 years and based on this rubric or the pay scale you had to get paid a certain amount based on your position. People weren't getting paid what they were supposed to get paid.
Wow.
And so I just made sure everyone got paid. So it looked like to them that I was giving everybody raises and that they thought I was like trying to buy people off or something, like buy their approval. I was like, no, guys, like this is literally what you should have already had. I actually experienced a guy who came in and he was having issues with his daughter at the time and with medical coverage and was asking me for different solutions and I'm trying to help him. And I just, looked at his profile and I'm like, did you know you got medical? He didn't know.
Wow.
He didn't know he had medical, like fully covered, and his daughter. Like it was already something he had and he was asking me with help for that. But that was how much they were neglected and they didn't know. Wow. Like they didn't know that these were all things that I was just trying to do right by them. Mm-hmm. But sometimes when you're not treated well, but anyway, so a lot of that stuff, I brought in a computer lab. I started an esports program, help kids with flyaway programs to, during the summer, during the year, they would fly out to different Ivy League schools and go on campus to help them increase their chance of getting enrolled at that university. We opened up a student store to help fundraise for kids, so they didn't have to people hadn't come out of pocket for different things, fun things they wanted to do. We reinvested, in ourselves. The kids wanted to have snacks,
and they loved that store.
They loved it because
they loved it.
The alternative was this guy who had a cart, and we actually, our school was on a major street, so it was like a major street. So as in, you couldn't even walk across the street to get into the campus.
And it was a wide, four lane.
Yeah, it was four lanes.
4-lane highway, but it was like super wide.
Yeah, well, kind of wide, but it was middle. It wasn't that wide, but it was dangerous. You couldn't really cross it. That's the point.
Right.
You couldn't walk into the school. You had to be driven into it. Mm-hmm. So, but the guy would set up the cart on the outside of the school, kind of like a little ways down, and kids would go and purchase things from the cart. But they were walking on the sidewalk to get to this cart, which was kind of dangerous because they would crowd up and it's a major, street. So cars are going by fast, 50 miles, 60 miles an hour or 40 miles an hour, whatever. And so anyway, I said, this is just dangerous. And then sometimes they go there to fight. So I was like, we got to figure this out. So create the student store. And I made sure to stock it with food they actually eat, they actually like, better than what they were getting at the cart guy.
Right.
Right. And then I actually staffed it with students and made it like a teachable thing. So they learned how to actually, have a store, inventory, all the different things and margins and profit and all that stuff. Did all that stuff, and we ended up raising like a whole bunch of money for the school. And I used that money to reinvest it into other things like rallies and giveaways and all types of stuff. So I was really into it. I really loved being there,
and the gear too, like the hoodies.
Oh yeah, we totally changed the uniform.
Those hoodies were fly.
The kids loved the new look, and I knew I struck a chord with the kids when I saw them wear their school uniform or their school merch, not just on campus, but they would wear it at the mall, like on the weekends, right? And because they match it with their J's, they match it, and so I knew that we were onto something. And, there were some people who were really excited about all the changes, and there were some that weren't. And unfortunately, the ones that weren't, it just caused a lot of stress for me. And as you know, I ended up in the ER March 2018, March 2019 due to stress. And that second time that it happened, that's when you turned to me and said, Charles, we can't lose you to a job. And so how was that time for you?
That was, it was actually a little stressful for me because by that time we had our second baby together and it was really overwhelming for me. It was a lot because, we met fairly quickly and it just all happened so fast. It all happened
really fast.
It was like, boom, I'm a mom and a stepmom and I live on the other side of the country away from my family in New York. And I didn't really have a support system. And you were gone at the school. It was an hour commute roughly or 45 minutes.
Hour and 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, it was over an hour?
It was over an hour for sure.
It was far.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't get home till, kind of late, especially if there were events at the school. You had meetings. And I was just like, this is crazy. So, you were going through what you were going through.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. It was about 45 minutes. Because initially we were in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we moved closer. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. We moved closer to,
the school.
Thinking that would help relationships at the school, but it didn't.
It didn't. And so we ended up leaving the principalship, right? We made a decision to do that. And the first thing we did was start entrepreneurship, which I wasn't sure about, but you had you were convinced. You had 100% faith that this was going to work out. I remember you telling me, you said, I've always felt like you should be an entrepreneur. And I was like, why do you say that? And you told me, I'll never forget, you said, because the dreams you have for us, you were never going to get us there on a principal salary. I remember you, and you said, you got to be an entrepreneur because then you could actually do all the things that you...
Yeah, you can create the life that we can live together.
Yeah.
And for our family.
So I thought that was pretty cool. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to start. I didn't know what to do with entrepreneurship. But you had taught our boys how to read by the age of 2, both of our boys. And so I figured you're really good at that. And I'm good with managing kids and, I can build, I can, manage the school. So we decided to create an in-home preschool. Right?
And bring people into our home and just open our doors and just love on folks in the community. And it was, before we started it, I thought, I had this idea of just having a whole bunch of kids and being with them all day. But, initially that didn't happen.
No. We struggled initially to get kids, but eventually once we started doing some marketing campaigns, I started doing marketing campaigns, but we figured it out. We were able to get kids enrolled.
Yeah, because we were handing out flyers at Walmart and putting up flyers at the library and it wasn't working. That wasn't working. So we did a Google campaign, Facebook campaign. That did work. We were able to fill up our daycare and also fill up a daycare around the corner. And after about a month or so, we had a 40-parent wait list. So things were good, right? But one thing that I wanted to talk about was because we started working together. So we went from that husband and wife dynamic where I'm working, you're at home, and we had that going. And then all of a sudden we started to spend every day, every waking moment with each other. Yes. All day, every day.
Because we work together. So how is that dynamic? Do you think that things kind of form naturally for us, or do you think that we had to kind of like, sort it out?
Well, I mean, before we got married, we were spending a lot of time together.
We did.
And we developed this friendship, and I felt like you were my best friend. So I was really excited that I could be with you all day and have you to myself all day long. So I was really excited about that.
And I don't think I was as excited as you. I mean, because I'm more of a practical thinker, and I'm thinking like, because you have this romanticized notion of it, like, oh, we're just gonna and I was like, all day. I mean, because we have different working styles, right?
Yes.
And so, I'm looking at it like how a principal would. I'm gonna get up. We start at a certain time. Gotta make sure things are done. You are, even though I'm mainly like the operations and like different things, you were in charge of cooking. You were in charge of, greeting the kids, making sure they had activities and things like that. And so there were certain logistical things that I needed. I kind of planned out for us. And what do you do typically when I give you plans in my?
They go straight out the window.
That's right.
But that's how it was back then.
Is it different now?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's not 100% there.
Okay, there we go.
We've been working on it throughout the years.
That's all. I just want us to tell some truth. That's all. Yeah, it's not as bad as it was. Mm-hmm. It is getting better, but we're not quite there.
Right.
But yeah, you tend, your personality is when people give you plans and rules, that is like it's like someone daring you to break the rule. Like you don't. There's not one rule or plan that you look at and go, I'm definitely going to follow that. It's like you want to do the opposite.
Not intentionally. I don't know what it is. It's like something, I don't know.
Well, whatever it is, you pass it down to Malcolm because, like, we whenever we go to an Airbnb,
our 8-year-old,
yeah, and he sees something that says "Do not enter," he's like, I kind of want to see what's in there. I'm like, why? It says no. Like it's like let it go, right? Don't even think about it. He's just like, what's in there? Like, what do you think?
It's through him that I've seen the error in my ways.
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. Right. Because you get to experience what that's like for someone to keep challenging and being like, why do we gotta do it this way? Now I'm doing it something different. Like, why are you doing it different? You don't gotta do it different. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so but at the same time, I do appreciate that part of you because I'm a rule follower. Mm-hmm. Right. And so while you may be someone who goes against the rules, and it doesn't always work out, but sometimes it does. And sometimes we need exactly that for you to break the rules. Prime example about how we worked, how we figured out how to work together. That logistics part, we knew I was going to do that. We knew you were going to do the fun part. We kind of knew that innately. Mm-hmm. But we didn't know how it would work together. Because while I'm trying to, one of the features of our preschool was that we had a legitimate schedule. Mm-hmm. Things were getting done. There was learning time. There was all this different stuff. But you had to follow the schedule because you were the teacher. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that would work and sometimes that wouldn't. Because I'd be like, hey, next activity, let's go. We're moving on. And you're like, no, we're still kind of, I wanted to, like, no,
They're having a moment. Look at them. They're having fun.
Like, wrap it up. Wrap it up. Right. Or it's lunchtime, right? We got to get them lunch because if you don't get his lunch by, or you don't cook it by this time, or, it was all these different things. And we had it where, like, I'd have you, kids would go do something. I'd be watching them. And while I'm watching them, you need to be making food and you got to have food done by this time because then I'm done doing this. We can switch back. And then when you're done cooking, I can go and clean. And we had I had it all worked out, but it didn't always work out because sometimes you wanted to buck it. You wanted to buck the system.
Buck the system.
But still, it still worked out really well. We had a lot of happy parents, people who really enjoyed what we did. But one thing I really noticed about us is that there were times where I had to take a step back because I needed to focus. Because sometimes, and I admit this, I get really upset with you and really frustrated with you because I would focus on the things that you weren't doing, right? You weren't following, the timeline. You weren't doing certain things. And I was like so focused on it. It was frustrating. But I realized, just through experience that instead of me focusing on that, because that leaves me not very happy, was to focus on the things that you were doing well, right? Focus on your strengths and not your weaknesses. So the things that you did well was that you would cook an amazing meal like almost every day. Like we all were getting fed breakfast and lunch by you, and it was delicious, right? The kids.
And then dinner for the family.
And then dinner for the family sometimes. And then the kids would love it, right? And that was also actually a part of our preschool that made it like so fun for the kids, and they loved it because they loved the food. They loved eating there.
They did.
Even to the point where their parents wanted some of our food. We'd feed them too. And they was like, are they getting this every day?
I know.
This is crazy. And I enjoyed it too, low key. You know, I was like, I get my wife to cook every day. Like, so I was enjoying it too. But one thing that really highlighted for me our strengths and differences was a moment that you and I had at Home Depot. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You want to tell that story?
So we were at Home Depot and we had just gotten a sandbox. So we needed, to go to Home Depot, get the sand to fill the sandbox. And so, how they stack it in a certain order.
Okay.
So what?
I'm listening because I want you to set it up the right way because people won't feel it if you don't set it up the right way. So
they
give a
stack
lot of
it
context.
up a certain order. So, Charles, big, strong man, he has some big, strong R's. So I'm like, Charles, go up there and pull a sandbag down. We need a few of them.
Yeah.
So he got one, got two, and then there was one, it was like sand on top of it, so he couldn't really get it. And so he was struggling, trying to pull it out because it's like compressed down in there. And then I looked at it.
Hold on. Okay, yeah. I'll add a little more here just to add to your story. You're doing a really good job. That was good.
Okay. I'm trying to get better.
Yes, that was good. Yes, I got the first 2 bags down. The third one I was struggling with, just like you said, it was in there in a weird way. And I thought I could kind of yank it out, and I was just using all my muscle. I couldn't do it. And then you may not remember this detail, but we looked to the left, and there was this old man that walked up and had a similar stack.
Oh, for like cement or something.
And he just went and like grabbed the bag and just left, right? And I was like, oh, what? I'm over here feeling away because I'm like, I know I'm stronger than this dude. Like, what is going on, right? And so I go at it again, and I'm like you using my muscle back, and my back hurt. I'm like, what? And then you just looking at me like, and I'm feeling all types of way. I'm like, my wife here, my sons are here. What is going on? Y'all saw me do the first 2 bags, right? Like, with this one, it's not working. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, man. And I look at Jonsi. Jonsi, it looks like she wants to do something.
I know. I was getting frustrated because I'm like, how do you not see this?
And I couldn't see it. And so I said, okay, Jonsi, this is where I need your creativity. And because I wanted to recognize the moment, because I was like, okay, this is a moment, because I'm conventional. I'm very linear, logical thinking. In my mind, I should be able to get this third piece. I know there's some things on it, but based on what I can see, my math in my head, I should be able to snatch this thing. And I can't. And I don't understand it. I'm getting very frustrated. You look like you have something or an answer or something. So I'm going to go ahead and step aside and I'm going to humble myself and I'm going to see if you can help me out. And what did you do, babe?
And so I went to the bag and I think I just repositioned something, but I saw how to get it out.
Yeah.
It looked like a puzzle that I could solve.
And it was so brilliant. You went and you actually moved a piece that looked so unrelated. You moved like a piece like to the right of it. Like I didn't see the connection. You moved that piece, and as soon as you moved that piece, you went and just tugged it, and it just came right. I was like, oh my God. But that to me was like, that's our relationship, like in a lot of ways, right?
It really is.
Oh man. And we use that example a lot. There's times where I'm like, okay, let me step aside. We got one of the moments. Because sometimes when I get stuck, and I could take us really far, boom, but there's sometimes when I get stuck and I just need creativity. I need someone who's going to break the rules. I need someone who's going to be unconventional. I need someone who's going to not look at it the linear way. And you do that so well.
And in turn, I need somebody who can get us on a schedule.
Yes.
And who can, just make sure everything flows the way it should.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
The household operations. Mm-hmm. That's not my ministry.
Yeah, household, just logistics, anything regarding any of that stuff, you typically pass that to me. But at the same time, if our family only ran off of what I did logistically, it would probably feel like, like stale, like the military. It would be a lot of structure and function, but not a lot of fun. But what you do is you bring the fun, and you're great at that. So that's the reason why a lot of us, are happy and having fun at the house or wherever we are, because you are the one that comes up with those ideas. You're the ones that, that thinks through that to say, hey, we should, this and that. And we don't always, me and the boys, we don't always be like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea, Mom. Like, we don't, sometimes we push back, but you're like, no, like, this is going to be fun. You got to trust me. And then we go do it and we're like, that was amazing. I.e. slime.
Yeah, the Slumu. Yeah, so Malcolm's birthday, he just turned 8. And so I'm like, let's go to this place. It's 45 minutes away, but it's going to be amazing. Yeah, like, but we get there and Malcolm said that was the best birthday he's ever had. So be honest. Does your website actually reflect the level of work you do? Or do you quietly pray no one asks you for your link? If your online presence is making you look less professional than you are, it's time for a reset, and we've made it easy. Introducing the Divine Redesign Movement by Panda Commission. For just $100, we'll create a custom mock-up of a premium website or sales funnel. No commitment, no pressure. You'll get a stunning strategic preview of your new site, built by real designers, not cookie-cutter templates. In under a week, you'll know exactly what your brand could look like when it's working for you. If you love it, we build it. If not, you walk away. Simple. But fair warning, your next client is already judging your digital first impression. Don't let outdated design be the thing that costs you the sale. Spots are limited. Claim your $100 mock-up now at mydivineredesign.com. Panda Commission. Premium design for your business at every stage. People think it's cute, right? Until it's time to decide who's replying to the emails.
Yeah, like who's doing what?
Who's doing what? Yeah.
Because people think, often,
or who's taking the sales calls?
Who's taking the sales calls?
Who's managing the team?
That's right. Well, we all know who's doing that, but but we had to learn that though too, because like even in our dynamic at the daycare, I remember because I started paying a commission while you used to doing the daycare. Mm-hmm. So you were downstairs and I was upstairs, and I actually hired you an assistant. Doing my principal thing, I hired someone. I hired someone to help you, but you didn't know how to manage them.
I didn't, and I tried because she was the sweetest thing, but it's just not. It wasn't. It wasn't. Me. Yeah, it wasn't in me. And so I would get frustrated, like, oh gosh, what should I ever do now? Trying to figure it all out, and or how she could really help me because she wanted to help me. Yeah. And she wanted to, help us grow. Yeah. And she really enjoyed being there. And it was great, but I didn't know what to do.
You didn't know how to manage another adult. Right. And I know how to manage managers of adult. That's what I did as a principal. So I felt comfortable. I was like, I can coach you through this. I can teach you how to manage her. But the problem was I was also running another business. And so I didn't have the time. And so it just ended up being a point of frustration. But I also had to accept the fact that that's not your role. Like you're not going to be someone who necessarily is going to be dealing with the people to manage them, to get them to perform. Mm-hmm. You're more so, better at like clients and, getting people to like attracting them to come in, getting them to give us a shot. That's why you do the sales calls. That's why you just, certain things like that. You do the networking for us because that works really well for us. So let's talk through, more about like some of the things that we do together and we do apart, right? So how do we, in your mind, how do we separate marriage mode and like business mode?
That was a learning curve. That was really that was a trip because I felt like we're finally in a place where we understand and it works, but there was for years I would give you a lot of pushback because yes, you're the CEO, but you're my husband. I'm familiar with you. So you ain't gonna be talking to me. You ain't gonna be telling me what to do, because I grew up in New York. I get a little testy sometimes.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. I think that people think that we, they see us on camera all the time. They think we always get along. And I would say,
and we're married.
Yeah,
no married couple always gets along.
Not at all, right? Yeah. It's a fantasy. So we just gonna go ahead and just demystify that now. We don't always get along. That doesn't mean we don't love each other. That doesn't mean that we're not rooting for each other, that we're not in each other's corner. But we don't always get along.
No.
But definitely was hilarious that you said that because you're not a rule follower. Mm-hmm. And you like to push back on rules, on authority, all those different things. And for me, as my role as CEO, and also my role that I've been in for a number of years as principal, as leader, all these things, like I'm not used to people pushing back on me. Like, our staff of 8, I'm constantly managing them. Ain't nobody pushing back on me. And I tell you all the time, like, man, if you wasn't my wife, I would have fired you. Because you can't be talking to me like that. And I remember, like, because we both, you said you grew up, in New York, and you had this defensive kind of stature where, you wanted to make sure that you weren't getting sunned, right? You wanted to make sure that I wasn't trying to check you, don't be trying to sun me, like
I literally said that.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I had to realize too that my background, because I grew up where I grew up, in Inglewood and, in different hoods in the USA. And I'm also the type of person, like, you ain't gonna check me either. Like, you ain't gonna be talking crazy to me. So we both had this energy of like, yo, watch your tone, okay? Like, like, I don't know who you think you're talking to. And so we had that stalemate. And while we have that stalemate, because, we're like, hey, make sure you talk to me right.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me nice. Then we got to actually do some business, though. We got to actually, like, move forward.
Yeah, so we had to learn how to talk through a lot.
Man.
We had to learn how, because I didn't grow up, talking about my feelings or talking about situations. I always really internalized it. So that's one of the things that I really appreciate about you when I met you is you had learned, because of your background in education, all this social, emotional, education words. But, and you were able to really open my mind and help me communicate better.
And that's been an interesting journey. I've enjoyed seeing your evolution, but I mean, I have to admit, it's definitely been frustrating because there were times where, I think that I'm like, man, you should be able to get this, right? Because, like, it's just like, I already explained to you what the concept is, and and you should just be able to accept what I'm saying and let's move on, but not taking into account your lived experience, your learned experience, and that it does take some time to evolve, in terms of, like, thinking through some of the emotions, especially when you're not raised that way. Like, you spend literally 30 years of your life without me, without knowing me, and not having to do these things. And then all of a sudden now you're thrust in a situation where a lot of stuff has changed. And not only has you physically changed, family, marital status, all these different things, everything's changed. And now I'm asking you also to change how you emotionally, process, how you communicate, like it was a lot for all of us to deal with. Yeah.
That's
all at once. Yeah. And then we got in business together too. So and then we both didn't know anything about that. So we had a lot going on.
I know. It was like we were learning each other, learning how to be married to each other.
Yep.
And learning how to grow a business too.
It was so, so there was times where we had to eventually establish some boundaries, right? Mm-hmm. Eventually establish some roles that were clear, right? So now we know, like, what our roles are in this dynamic, right? We know who does what at the house, right? We know who does what in business. And what we also... It's clear. Right?
And it makes things so much easier for both of us.
Yes. And we lean to each other's strengths.
Yes. Right? And that's key. Yeah. Always leaning into each other's strengths.
Yeah. Because trying to change somebody is like, don't even do that, y'all. Like, if anyone's going to change, it's going to be through prayer. Amen.
A whole lot of prayer.
Prayer, and God gonna have to do it because you ain't gonna be able to do it, right? And I learned that too. Like if there's anything that I really feel like, you know, Jonsi can improve on, you know, while I may say it as a partner and as, you know, a husband, all those things, I'm not going to like set the expectation that just because I said something that she's going to all of a sudden change. Like, you know, because it's an individual thing. Like you have to see it yourself, and I may not be right. You know, I may be wrong. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong, right? And maybe God got to deal with me. You know, so it's. But what I have learned is that if I stop focusing on those things, like the negative things or the things that make me upset, start focusing on the positive things and things that make me happy, I'm happier. I'm in a place, you know, that allows me to really enjoy, you know, who Jonsi is, and also have gratitude about what you bring to the table, which is a lot.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that's sweet.
You ain't gonna say nothing about me?
Oh yeah, okay. You're dope, babe.
You got nothing to say.
You're dope, babe.
Okay, that's all I get. All right. You ain't gonna give me the breakdown about how dope I am? Okay.
Yes, babe.
Oh.
I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for you, I couldn't mother the way I do. I couldn't, you know, be as supportive of the boys. Cause I mean, ever since they came out, from the moment they came out, you've been such a great partner in helping me with them. Cause for a while, I had postpartum depression, and it was like such a battle, and you helped me through that. You helped me, you know, feeding them when they were babies. And, you know, trying to get them to latch and all that stuff. So, you know, you are a true partner in every sense.
And what I've learned from you is like what loyalty is. Like, and I'm not saying like in a traditional sense, obviously, but also just like emotionally. Because like what you learned from your upbringing was that you wouldn't discuss your feelings, right? And so you guys kept everything bottled. Your whole family, everybody upset, but ain't nobody talking about it, right? That's y'all. My family is complete opposite. We gonna tell you how we feel, and we gonna say probably things that we should not say, right? We go dig deep, and we gonna cut you. And so what I've learned in my upbringing was that, hey, if somebody hurts you that way, you hurt them back, and then you cut them off. And so we have a lot of family that don't talk to each other. There's family I haven't spoken to in years, right? Because something happened, it went too far, and now, you know, people feel like we can't ever get back because we said some stuff that just hurts too bad, you know? And so what I learned from you is that even if you do sometimes, you know, say some things that you shouldn't say, you know, that it doesn't mean it's over. Like you really kind of, I remember the first couple times where we had some trouble, and I was thinking like, oh man, I'm, you know,
you were on
it was a good run. It was a good run, but I know how the story is. You know, she upset, I'm upset. Nah, call it a day. You know, it was a good run. I really liked her. You know, she was the best. You know, but you were like, no, like, are you kidding me? Like, that's not what this is. Like, I'm not thinking that. I'm not even on that. Like, that's not a thought in my mind. And I'm like, what? But you acting like you like, yeah, I'm upset, but I'm not. Doesn't mean I'm going anywhere. I'm not going to do nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what?
That's unconditional love, babe.
Yeah. And I think like, and I learned this through you, I feel like I've always had the capacity for it, but never felt safe. Right? Because different things, you know, I don't want to get into all that, but like, you know, not having a great relationship with my father, you know, biological mom, that relationship is pretty much non-existent. Those kind of things, those fundamental things that children are supposed to have to kind of anchor them in love, and especially unconditional love and all those different things, I didn't have that. And so I didn't really trust that. And then also compile that with my, you know, first marriage not working out and being young and making bad decisions. I was like, ain't no way, you know what I'm saying? But then you come along and kind of just, you know, reverse all that thinking. So that's been great.
Aww.
Let's help out the people. So we told our story. So what are some of the things that we had to learn the hard way that we can help them potentially if they're in a similar situation?
Learn how to talk to each other. Learn, like, you know, be mindful of what you say. Maybe take a beat and just be mindful of what you say before you say it. Just don't come out swinging. And just try your best to. It's cliche, you know. I feel like every couple says communication, but learning how to communicate with each other. I feel like it's like, you know, that movie Happy Feet with the little penguins, and they start playing each other's songs, and the songs merge together into one song.
That's good.
That's how it is with us.
Yeah, we had to learn it though.
Yeah.
So we have different communication styles. So let's make it more like really practical for folks. So my communication style is a lot of details. I like a lot of details and ask a lot of questions. Sometimes if people don't know me well, they think that my question asking can be assumptions or I'm implying things by asking questions. They think that I'm judging them, or they think that I'm being critical. I'm really being curious. And so I know that was a learning for you to accept that maybe when I ask this question, I'm not actually trying to lead you somewhere, or I'm literally just curious about
that took me a long time to figure out. Years.
Yeah, I know. And then also on the other end, your communication style is one that requires sometimes to take a beat. You can't, you don't always, you're not able.
I don't always give you all the information that you need.
Yes, because sometimes you need a moment. Because I don't need a moment. I just assumed that you didn't need a moment. And so I would just, I'd press it. But that wouldn't help you. Pressing you actually led to you shutting down. And I didn't want you to shut down. And what I found out is that you didn't want to shut down either, is that you were just being triggered. And so once I realized that I was triggering you, I had to figure out a way to talk to you in a way that didn't press you, didn't make you feel that way. I think also too, learning tone, right? Because for me, because I grew up with coaches and sports, and my dad was in the military. Like, I grew up with the thought of, it's not how you say it, it's what you say. So I would focus on what people would say rather than so much how they said it, right? I learned early on, I was taught early on to not focus on that, because you'll
just
miss.
Listen to the words.
Just listen to the words. You'll miss the message if you focus on the emotion. That's not how you are.
No. Because tone, like, my mom was all about tone. She gave me tons of love. She just made me feel loved. But, it was all about respect as well. So if I talked to her crazy, it would not be good.
Yeah. So I learned through you that it's, it is what you say, right? It is also how you say it, depending on the individual. It really just depends. And you have to learn how to communicate with everyone. I learned that in the principalship, but there's also just that authority piece. Whereas sometimes you're like, you could spend the time doing all that, but at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to tell people what it is, right? And when you're in a boss role, you can kind of do that. But when you're in a partner role, that's not it. Because if any moment you feel disrespected, the conversation is pretty much over. And I have to make sure that I'm aware of that. And we've worked through it, because there's times where I'm honestly not trying to be disrespectful, but it's coming across that way. And I had to accept that that's what you felt. But then you also too had to, I guess, sometimes kind of, change your filter or built to be like, not everything he's saying, his intention is to be disrespectful. Like, some of this really is just curiosity. Some of this really is just him, like, wanting more information. He's not trying to come at me in a crazy way. Would you agree with that?
Yes, 100%.
So we learn to each other. We still don't get it all the way right. Like, we still have our moments, right? And we still are who we are. But the fact that we work on it, we're so intentional about it.
It's brought us closer together. Yeah. Like, we were already friends, but it's just much deeper now.
Yes, 100%. And so if we're helping people, we gotta, I would say, play to each other's strengths, communicate better, know each other's roles, right? Would you also suggest that there's a time where we unplug?
How do you do that as entrepreneurs?
It's difficult, right?
It's like I was at an event a few weeks ago, and it was this couple there. And so I started talking to the wife. She was really sweet, and she's asking me, I tell her, I work with my husband too, and we've been doing this for years now. And they were kind of new in their business. I think they've been doing it for maybe less than a year. But she was like, what time do you just turn it off? At what point can you just like step away and, just be away from the work? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And there aren't many people that I know who are entrepreneurs who can even do that.
Yeah.
It's like you're always thinking about your business.
Yeah.
You're always thinking about, what can I do next? Or how can I improve this? Or, thinking about your clients. It's like, we're always talking about it.
We always are.
But we enjoy talking about it.
We do.
With each other.
Yeah. It's a part of who we are.
We like it.
Yeah. But just to get a little transparent.
Okay.
What's our not all the time, but what is most of the time our pillow talk about?
Business.
Man. Matter of fact, if I'm being transparent.
Okay, go ahead.
If I'm being transparent.
Go ahead.
This fellas, I don't know if this is gonna work for y'all. But the way that I help my wife go to sleep.
That's crazy.
Is talk about business.
Literally just say the word.
That's all I gotta say. Sometimes I just say the word. I just be like, business. And
I go straight
and she starts falling asleep. It's like rocking my baby. Like, yeah. It's funny. It's funny. We laugh, but it's true. We actually not playing. Sometimes
I don't even understand that, Charles. I don't get it.
Because like and I found this out because she would set me up. Because she'd be like, not able to sleep, and so she'd be like, Charles, come talk to me. I'm not able to sleep. Let's, and I'm like, okay, like, and I'm thinking she's saying come talk to me. I'm not able to sleep because she wants to stay up. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, she wants to talk. She's not able to sleep. Let's talk. And so she'll ask me a question about business or, something going on in the company. And I start talking to her about what's going on. I'm going on my little rant. Next thing I know, I hear snoring. I'm like, what's
snoring?
What? You don't snore?
I'll just be asleep.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My bad. Y'all scratch that one out, Zell.
Oh my goodness.
No. So, but you'll be breathing hard. That lets me know that you're asleep, right? Because your breathing pattern changed. And so from there, I'm like, what's going on? And it started happening so often where I'm like, yo, are you using me to just go like this business talk is really putting you to sleep? And I remember one time I just out of just pure me just trying to, play with her and have fun. I started talking about business and then I just started saying business. And she went to sleep. So now it's a running joke. Yeah. But we do enjoy talking about business. And I don't know, I would suggest if people unplug, we do unplug. We try to unplug at least on our vacations, and we are intentional about that.
And when the boys get home from school.
That's one of the times
it's like when that's a big cutoff.
Yeah.
But there's flexibility.
There is flexibility, but we do suggest people do it. And so here's the thing. So, as we wrap up, pretty much, what I want people to understand is that it's not always balanced in terms of, the work-life relationship, the work-wife work balance. It ain't always there. It's kind of blends, but because we are intentional, we find ways to make it work. And that's all.
And I think your work wife is pretty fun too, isn't she?
Man, they both fun. If I'm being honest.
So if you and your partner are building together, you're trying to get this thing to work, just make sure you give each other some grace because it can take time. You just got to find that rhythm together, whatever works for you together.
Yep. Give grace and give structure. Right?
Yes.
Because we need both.
Yes. That's very important.
Amen?
Amen. So if you need to give your business some structure around its brand, holla at us at Panda Commission.
So yeah, we would love to help you out. We would love to help. If you're a couple in business, you're looking to rebrand, establish your brand, looking for designs, we love to help you out. We actually help out a lot of couples in business. I think because they see us and how we work, and they also want to work with other couples. And so we work really well with couples. We've had a lot of success working with couples with their individual brands and also their businesses together. So if you're interested in that, go to pandacommission.com, book a call, or leave a comment, down below. We would love to hear from you, hear some of your stories. We can share stories. And also you can follow us at all social media platforms. Go to Panda Commission or type in Panda Commission. You'll find us. And if you like this episode, like it, subscribe to our channel, share it with someone. Ultimately, we'd love for you to become a part of our Panda family.
If your content looked as good as your offer. Introducing Panda Market, your new secret weapon for scroll-stopping content. We've got done-for-you Canva templates that are bold, beautiful, and built to convert. No more wrestling with design. Just drag, drop, post, and watch your brand glow up. New templates drop every month, so your content never gets stale. Get yours now at thepandamarket.com. Your feed will thank you.